Successful Minds with Patricia Barnowski-Schneider, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet. Hear their stories and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Successful Minds with Patricia Barnowski-Schneider is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Patricia Barnowski-Schneider.
Hey, are you looking to scale your business from 5 figures to 6 figures or 6 figures to 7 figures? If you are, I have the perfect thing for you. What I want you to do today is I want you to go download a book. This book is going to take you through my 3-pillar system. It's 100% free. All you have to do is go to growfast.cash. I say again, go to growfast.cash and you're going to be able to download my free international best-selling book, which is called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. You can take that book. It's going to help you scale your business to the next level. Again, go download it. Be good, be brief, be gone. Growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. Enjoy.
Hello, and welcome back to Successful Minds. I'm your host, Patty Baranowski-Schneider. Today, I'm joined by Wayne Mullins, an entrepreneur and the founder of Ugly Mug Marketing. So welcome, Wayne. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Patty, thanks so much. I'm excited for our chat today.
Yes.
I am a husband, father of 4 amazing kids, 3 boys and a girl.
Wow,
And
nice.
I happen to spend my days doing a lot of marketing and leadership related things.
That's an awesome thing. And kids, I'm sure, keep you plenty busy.
That they do.
Nice. So I guess, can you share your journey from a successful sales career to founding Ugly Mug Marketing, and what motivated you to take the leap into entrepreneurship?
Yeah. So, I began my career, my work life, if you will, in sales. Thanks in part to Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar was a famous sales trainer and motivational speaker. And he sold me on the profession of selling. And
Wow,
I was
nice.
convinced that that's the thing I should do. So I did it. As I got into the profession of selling, what I learned very quickly is that I was terrible at this thing called sales. The other thing, though, is I was also very stubborn. So that stubbornness is what kept me in that career path and kept me learning and growing and evolving and trying to just get better. And over the course of 3 years, I went from absolutely horrific to pretty good at this thing called sales. And what I noticed, Patty, was that as I got better at sales, the amount of money I was making for the company was going up pretty drastically. But on the other hand, my pay was only going up incrementally.
Right.
I mean, they were both going up, but their revenue was going up much quicker than my pay. And so I had this very dangerous idea of, what if I went and did something for myself? What if I went and sold something on my own?
Right.
And the only other skill I had other than sales was cutting grass. So we're here in Louisiana where the grass grows, 9 months out of the year. And I decided to start a lawn and landscape company.
Okay.
So over the course of a 3-year period, grew that company into a very large company, very successful, put it up for sale and sold it. But in the course of that growth, I started having other entrepreneurs come to me and say, we see how fast your business is growing.
Right.
What are you doing? How are you growing? And the answer was marketing. We were doing some very specific, very unique things. And so that is how I ended up down this career path of marketing and Ugly Mug Marketing.
Oh, I love the Ugly Mug Marketing. I'm like, oh, you're not Ugly Mug, but it's still a unique name. But it's funny because I've been doing marketing for 35 years. And it's, I always admired when people said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like, I want to be a doctor. It was a job that I fell into. I paid the bills and that was all good. But you could probably attest to the fact that it's not like a cashier, you're ringing up stuff all day, or the receptionist you answer. Marketing, you have no clue what your day is going to be like until you open up your email in the morning. It could be a good day, it could be a crisis day, it could be a bad day, but it keeps you on your toes and being creative and all that good stuff. So I'm with you on that one. Now, tell us, over the past 20 years, you've scaled multiple companies. So what are the key factors that contribute to successfully scaling a business?
I love this question. I would say, Patty, that the number one thing is this: you have to understand the difference between growth and scale. And so often entrepreneurs use those words interchangeably, and growth and scale are two completely different things. The way I love to simply define this, or the difference between the two, is this: that when you are growing, what happens is the more you grow, the more demand is placed on you as the leader or as the entrepreneur. So if you double your business, your time, right, the amount of commitment and time and obligations and responsibility often doubles if you're just growing. But if you're scaling, what happens is the opposite. As you scale, your time actually, you get more of your time back because you have a team, you have systems, you have processes, all doing those things to ensure the growth of the organization.
Oh, it's very good, because most people don't understand that. I mean, everybody just has the thing in their head: we want to grow, we want to grow, we want to grow. But it is true. I mean, your growth, I know people who, they're working 18-hour days, they're exhausted, and you lose that quality of life. So where's the happy medium? You're scaling. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you helped a client grow to more than 600 million in less than 5 years. So can you share more about this experience and what strategies were pivotal to this success?
Absolutely. So roughly 6 years ago now, we started working with this client. They're in the home services space. Okay. And when they came to us, they were doing roughly 25 million, in that range, in annual sales. Fast forward to today, this year, they will actually probably break $1 billion in revenue. And here's, so one, we handle their lead generation on all their social media. But I've had kind of a front row seat into what has contributed to their rapid scaling, right? How did they scale so quickly? And one of the most fascinating things to me is this: that they keep the main things, the main things. They don't get distracted by all the other things they could do or should do. They keep the main thing, the main things, which in their business, the main things are this: leads coming in, leads being followed up with, and effective sales, right? So when the leads are followed up with, they have a very effective sales process. Mm-hmm. Those are the main things. And they focus on those metrics day in and day out. That is really it. So they know that the more people they get into the top of that, if you want to call it a funnel, the top of that, the more conversions they're going to have, because they watch those numbers carefully and they ensure that those numbers remain constant and remain true. Everything else is just noise.
Well, it's good that they, if people get distracted very easily. So to have like a focus, have a plan, stick to the plan. And I always tell people, stay in your lane. You do what you do,
Yeah.
So now tell us, what's the Freelance Accelerator, and how does it help freelancers achieve their goals? And what inspired you to create the program?
Yeah. So in many ways, I started, Patty, as a freelancer. I was doing freelance marketing consulting. That was what I did. And so every time we get a new client, a chunk of my time, a chunk of my week disappeared, right? Because I was committed to them and helping them. And so what I've discovered over the years is that freelancers and agency owners, they get stuck in what I would call the freelancer or the agency owner trap. And what happens is this: they decide to start their business, they go out, and so they go sell, let's say they do web design. So they go out and they find a client or two that needs a website, they sell them. And then all of their time and attention goes to fulfilling and building out those websites and serving those customers. And then what happens is they complete the projects and they look up, and all of a sudden they need more money. They need more revenue. So what do? They devote all their time and attention to selling. They go back out and they sell and they sell and they sell. They finally land into their project. And then what do? They stop selling and they devote all their time and attention. And they stay in this cycle over and over again. And you can actually grow an agency. You can probably get to, roughly 250,000 a year in that cycle. If you learn to manage your time, you become more efficient, more effective, like you can grow, but you can never truly scale and turn your freelance passion into an actual business, a business that is worth money, a business that gives you freedom. And so that's really the core of what the Freelance and the Agency Accelerator is all about. It's helping people take their gifts and their abilities, whether that's graphic design, website, marketing, consulting, and how do we turn this into a business that actually grows and thrives with or without your input?
That's amazing, because it is true. I mean, so many people, they're, like you say, they're focused on their business, whether they're servicing other people or themselves. Nobody has time to, if you can't afford to hire 20 different people who are specific in growing this and lead generation and blah, 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 you're doing it all. And then you kind of lose track. I've been in that cycle. I get it. Now, you're known for your out of the box, against the grain thinking. So can you provide an example of how this approach has benefited one of your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of our clients, their audience was high school students. So they had to reach the high school audience. And this was for something that was not overly exciting. It was for an actual test that they wanted them to take that would help them uncover or discover their skills. So not necessarily like academically, but like, what are you naturally gifted in? Right. And so the whole purpose of taking this test was to help you discover those skills so that you could then decide which career path to pursue, whether that's through traditional, higher education, or whether that's entering the workforce or through a community college. Right. And so as we looked at this campaign, we're trying to figure out, like, how do we reach these students and how do we actually talk to them about the need to go take this test that, no kid wants to go take. And so what we came up with was we invented a fictional superhero called the Jobinator. And the Jobinator's job was to actually, we designed a costume. We designed this, and we actually hired an actor who played this role. And he would go around to schools during their lunch breaks, and he would talk to the kids about all of the terrible jobs that they should pursue in their future. And so, it was dog food taste tester. Yeah. It was just, all these crazy jobs. But then the whole purpose of that was in jest and in fun, talking about the importance of understanding and knowing your skills. Right. So that's an example of, we literally came up with the fictitious character, invented costume, invented language, and sent him out into the real world.
But that's actually really cool because, you want something that's going to stand out. If it's the same thing every day, nobody cares, but something that stands out and, thinking outside the box, obviously, is just, it got everybody's attention. That's for sure. And, saying dog food tasting, yeah, now you got my attention. I don't want to do that. That's pretty cool. Now tell us, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced in your entrepreneurial journey? And then how'd you overcome them?
The absolute, without question, biggest challenge I've ever faced, Patty, is the person who looks back at me in the mirror every single morning. It is that person that sabotages my success. It is that person who doubts my abilities. It is that person who always gets in my way. And so for me, it's really learning, first of all, that is true. Michael Gerber, the author of E-Myth and E-Myth Revisited, said that if your business is messy and chaotic, it is merely a reflection of you and your personal life. And so I found that to be true, not just in my own life, but in the lives of our clients who are entrepreneurs. So for me, it's learning that, first of all, that I can look around me at my team, I can look around at the clients, and I can make a long list of problems. I can make a long list of things they could or should be doing differently, right? Or better. But what I've discovered is that a far more effective use of my time is going to look in the mirror and saying, how am I not showing up properly? How am I not leading myself well? How am I not serving our clients well or serving my team well? So I've just found it's so much more productive to start there, to get that person right. And when you get that person right, everything else just seems to fall in place.
Wow, that's amazing. It is, I guess it's something that we all need, that reality check, because it is, I've been on jobs where, the head honcho is just dictating and criticizing every single thing. And you almost feel like you don't even notice what I do right. But, they have all these flaws too. But it's easy to just point it at you. It's your fault. But I guess that is a good reality check, just in life in general, not just always in business, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you lead from the heart and are passionate about it. So how does this leadership style impact your company culture and client relationships?
Yeah. So I think that, first of all, when we think about values within organizations, what I've discovered is that most organizations, the values are merely platitudes. They're merely words. Maybe they're on the wall, or maybe they're in your manual or on your website. But what I've discovered is that a value isn't a value until it costs you something. So we could say, for example, at Ugly Mug Marketing, that we value, one of our core values is creating remarkable experiences. But until that actually costs us something, in other words, until I have to decide as the owner, am I willing to give up profit in exchange for creating a remarkable experience for our client, then it's truly not a value, right? We can say we value those things, but if we're not willing to give up our time, give up our attention, to give up some of our money for those things, particularly when they're inconvenient, then they're not actual values. They're merely words. And so when it comes to leadership and leading from the heart, I think that the best place to start is making sure that your words are my words and actions lining up with the values that I say are important to us. Because if they're not, then I'm inauthentic. I am not being true. I'm not living in integrity, right? Or wholeness. I'm merely using fancy words, saying fancy phrases, but not living those things out.
Looking to grow your business beyond 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures plus? What I want you to do is go download this book. The title is called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. It will help you grow your business past 5, 6, and 7 figure. Go download the book today, growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash, and download the book for absolutely free.
I think that's really amazing because, it's more than just a job. It's about you and what you stand for. And I think, it really goes a long way. And a lot of companies should, heed that warning because, it's about what you portray. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Now, having trained over 20,000 marketers, what common mistakes do you see businesses make in their marketing efforts and how can they avoid them?
I could spend days on this, but for the sake of time, I won't. What I would say right now, I see this, and this has always been a trend, but it seems to be more prevalent now than ever. And that is this, that so many entrepreneurs and marketers get so distracted by the latest fad, by the latest social platform, by the latest, marketing hack, by the latest, here's whatever it may be.
Yeah.
They jump from thing to thing to thing. They're doing all these different tactics, right? They're pouring their time, they're pouring their attention, they're pouring their effort into all these various things, trying to figure out what's going to work and what isn't. And the problem with that is they are being tactical marketers. They are not being strategic. So, it's far better to step back. It's far better to do less and to recenter your marketing campaigns around the thing that matters most. And the thing that matters most is not what we want to say, not what we should say, not how the brand should look or how the website should look or what we should do on social. The most important part of any organization's marketing is the customer, the person they serve. And so start there, get crystal clear about their pain points, their desires, their frustrations, and then how does your product or your service help them overcome those things or help them achieve their goals? And when I start talking about this stuff, people are like, yeah, but teach me the next tactic, right? Teach me how to get a lot of likes or a lot of follows, or teach me how to get a lot of leads. And all of that stuff, to do any of that stuff well, it's all predicated on getting a crystal clear understanding of your customer, your client, and learning how to serve them through your messaging and through your products and services.
Yeah. It's funny because that's one of my pet peeves, even with companies themselves. It could be, just using them as an example, say Coca-Cola, I have the greatest soda in the whole wide world. Well, that's cool. You're just one of many. How are you benefiting? It's not about you. It's about your client, your customer, your audience, whatever the case may be. And so many either marketers or public relations or companies themselves don't care. It's all about them. It's not about you. You want to pat yourself on the back. That's awesome. Then go home and hope for the best, or, reach out to the people that you're trying to service and see what they want and what they need. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So now, can you tell us about your book, Full Circle Marketing, and what key takeaways do you hope readers will gain from it?
Sure. So the book Full Circle Marketing is really based on some foundational marketing principles. So these are not fads. This isn't how to get, grow your Instagram followers or any of that stuff. These are based on strategic foundational pieces of marketing. And so when we think about marketing and we think about marketing strategy, really at the core, marketing boils down to two things. It boils down to psychology and math. So psychology, because the whole purpose of anything that we do in marketing is to persuade people. It's to convince people. Marketing's job is to make sales unnecessary, right? So when our marketing is working well, we don't have to persuade, we don't have to push, we don't have to convince, because the marketing has done the work for us. And that happens through understanding the way that people make purchasing decisions. That's human psychology. And the beautiful thing about human psychology, despite the changes that the world has seen, the core foundational principles of human psychology and the way people make purchasing decisions hasn't changed that much in 100 years. It's still pretty much the same. Now, the methods through which we purchase, the methods through which we interact have all shifted and changed. But the psychological triggers, the things that are working beneath the surface, are all pretty much the same. So it's about understanding that psychology. It's about understanding, how do we take strangers out there in the world, people who could benefit from the product or service that we have? How do we convince them to be our friends? And then how do we convince those friends to become customers? And once we do that, our job is not done as marketers. Our job is to then turn those customers into evangelists for our brand. Because we live in a world where 6.5 billion people have a smartphone. That means there's 6.4 billion people who have the ability in an instant to share with all of their friends, all of their contacts, all of their connections, their experience with us. And yet as marketers, we're so busy trying to go find the next person that we're completely ignoring this huge army of evangelists that we could train and that we could teach, that we could have them going out and sharing our message for us.
I love that message. I think that's amazing. And I didn't realize there was that many people with smartphones. But yeah, I mean, it is crazy that, nowadays people live on the phones. Even the little kids, 2 years old, 3 years old, they're on the phone. I mean, so you have a huge audience in front of them. And it's true. You want to get that message out to everybody to share, because you're just one person, and even nowadays with everything remote and, you don't have to be in one specific state. You can, market to people around the world. So getting that message around to everybody, families live in this state, that's it. Spread the word. Nice.
Absolutely.
So now looking forward, what are your aspirations for Ugly Mug Marketing and your other ventures? And are there any new projects or ideas that you're excited to implement?
So I have the most unsexy answer that you'll ever hear, Patty. I am what I would call an incrementalist. So my whole belief for the company, for my life, for any project that I pursue is this: that if I can just get a little bit better each day, if my team can get just a little bit better each day, the profound effects of that over time, it's just like compounding interest. The profound effects of that over time are significant. What I see so often, particularly here in Western culture, American culture, is we live in this hustle, this grind culture where more is better, right? Doing more things is better, and like working harder is better. And what I see so often is people go through these roller coasters. So they give a tremendous amount of effort for a period, and then they get burned out. So then they have to coast for a bit, and they go back down here, and then they get fired up again. And so they go out and give more effort again. And what I believe to be true is that consistency creates miracles. So the more that we can just be consistent in the fundamental things, that we can be consistent in those little daily disciplines, the profound effects that will have long-term are just, they're unimaginable.
Wow. But it is true. We're all a work in progress. No one is perfect. It's every little bit. Times are changing. Things are changing. Keeping up with the times. It's all a work in progress. So I like your motive.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to talk about that we didn't already touch on?
No, I just think that, for those listening, that I know we live in this world where, it is the hustle, it's the do more, it's all this stuff. But I think sometimes that we lose sight of, particularly when we think about marketing, we lose sight of the thing that matters most. And we talked about this earlier, it's the customer. It was Earl Nightingale who said years ago, so if you don't know who that is, you can Google him, but Earl Nightingale said years ago that almost all business problems can be solved by this one exercise. And that is to go spend an hour a day thinking about how you and your organization can better serve your customers. Because that one exercise is the core of why all organizations exist, and that is to serve our customers and our clients.
Oh, very well said. Now, how can people get a hold of you or learn more about you?
The simplest place, Patty, is our website. That's just uglymugmarketing.com. Email addresses, phone numbers, social media, all that's in that one spot.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being on the show. Again, that was Wayne Mullins. So thanks for listening to Successful Minds with Patty B. Never miss an episode by subscribing. So thank you again.
Hey, we all want to scale our business. Hey, I have the answer for you today to help you do that. If you're looking to scale from 5, 6, even 7 figures and beyond, book called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. I'm going to give it to you for free. All you have to do is type in growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash, and you can download the book for absolutely free. I hope the book helps you this year. Take your business to the next level. Again, go grab the book, growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. I wish you the best and grow, scale, and win.
Thank you for listening to Successful Minds with your host, Patricia Barnowski-Schneider. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.
There it is. Magnum. Holy moly.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Dear